everybody. Thanks for coming to the show. I am Blood Spider, and I'm here today with the Huntsman. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, I'm the Huntsman. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm depends on how I'm received here.
Well, I mean, I could say, to give you credit as an unknown person in the community for the majority, that you are very, very smart, especially when it comes to wiring and shit, because you've helped me out already with so much of that I can't even properly list everything that you've helped me out with.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that's probably what I'm mostly in. I'm probably mostly in circuitry and stuff. Not really chemistry, which you're into, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You got any ongoing projects right now?
Well, I have a couple. One of them is a web shooter. It's really similar to the Spider Gadgets design, but whereas he used lighters as cartridges, I was planning on using CO2 cartridges and using a butane valve. So basically, servos would push down on the butane valve and release the web fluid.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember you telling me about that. See,
yeah.
I think that you could make that work with two servos. Yeah,
well, you need one on either side of the butane valve, because for the butane valve, I was planning on using, the Blood Spider. You and Human Spider both made that little adapter piece that goes onto butane valves, and then when you push down on it, it releases.
Yeah.
Well, basically, you'd have servos with upside down L's that push down on that little T and release the liquid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one is probably going to be super complex because I need actually a microcontroller. I need programming involved into it, so the servos don't actually rip apart.
Right. Yeah. They would have to go two ways, right? They would have to go up and down.
Yeah.
But really fast.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to do was I wanted to also do a double tap. So you have to do double tap to actually activate the servos. And what happens when you hold it, it'll pull back the servos for a certain amount of seconds, then it will lock them so the gears don't shred, and then it will pull back on the butane valve. And then after when you let go, it goes back to its original positioning, not to lose the seconds.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and you're gonna use that drum trigger thing that you showed me for the trigger mechanism, right?
Yeah. So if any of you guys have seen The Amazing, he does a really good explanation on how to use it. It's called an FSR trigger, and if you want to see it on The Amazing's channel, it's right there. Whole explanation on how to do it. Really fantastic. Yeah.
I've actually, the only time that I've ever used those things was from an actual drum set. But they're cool. They're really cool. They're like literally the perfect size and shape of what you would expect a web shooter trigger to be.
Oh yeah, big time. You can hide them easily into underneath gloves. What I actually wanted to do was I wanted to put metal on the back of it, and then in a glove I could have a magnet, so it would stay there completely and it wouldn't move.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
That's personally what I wanted to do. I also got a couple more projects. I got Spider Sense, I think I've told you about. So,
yeah, tell the people about that.
That's like really common amongst the community. That's a proximity sensor in an Arduino, and whenever something gets close, it'll do something. In most people, they do LEDs. Some people do actually earbuds, and it'll send a really low or high frequency. I don't know which, but it's just enough that you'll know that something's near, but it won't interfere with your hearing. But what I was going to do was I was going to do a motor, like a vibrating motor, just like in the comics, where when Spider-Man Danger comes in, it would vibrate like the base of your skull, basically.
See, every time that I've thought about that, I've always thought about using those sensors that are on cars. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Yeah, I don't know how good it would be, because they might go off, when anything comes in certain proximity, so you could be walking and walk past a wall, and then that wall is going to be in the proximity of it, and it's going to go off, But the thing is with that is they do have a depth gauge, so I'm sure you could code that and control it somehow for when something gets too close to you, it'll go off.
Well, funny enough, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, really? You're going to use those?
That's precisely. So it's called an ultrasonic proximity sensor. It has two little kind of cylinders, and one of them sends out frequency and hits something, and then it'll bounce back to the other cylinder, letting you know how far it is by measuring how long it takes for that sound to actually come back.
Oh, wow.
What I was going to do, which was kind of a cool idea, was I was going to take an Arduino, and the closer you'd get to the object, the harder the motor would vibrate.
So, like, if somebody was trying to sneak up on you and, like, you know, grab you by the back of the head or something, it would just go crazy?
Yes, precisely. It would slowly get crazier and crazier. And the way I do that is in the Arduino, you'd have pins, each one of them with different value resistors leading up to one of the points of the vibrating motor, so that when the proximity sensor is, say, let's say, I don't know, 5 centimeters away, a 200 ohm resistor would go off. And then when it's 4 centimeters, a 100 ohm resistor. And then the closer it would get, the less ohms would be there, meaning the motor would vibrate harder.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, for my fans that are listening to this, when it comes to electrical stuff and everything, I always go to this guy for help because I'm so stupid when it comes to that stuff. I could barely wire LEDs. It took me forever to make humans goggles.
Yeah, if you guys actually need help with circuitry, I don't know if Bloodspider could put down my Instagram in the description or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to tag you in it.
Yeah, if you guys need any help, I can probably help out. Now I want to warn you guys, I'm not that old. I'm still in high school. I'm not a genius at this stuff, but I know my stuff to a certain point.
Well, I mean, that's what I was talking to you about too, like not too long ago, was that, I do understand that you're a kid, but that's why I've given you a bunch of my formulas and everything like that, because you are smart, and I do trust you with a lot of stuff that, I wouldn't ask most people, because you've proven to me over time that you know what you're talking about, and that, you're not going to leak my stuff anywhere.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I really appreciate it, because I think you and Symbiote definitely have the best formulas out there. And I don't want to sound like I'm kissing your ass or anything, but it's true.
I mean, I would agree for that. I think there's probably a better one out there that, somebody's not showing or anything like that, but I would say as far as, like comic book worthy, making a line from shooter to target, yeah, me and him have the best. I would agree with that.
Yeah, if you look anywhere really, like all the big names kind of have those formulas. Like the Amazing has it, and he's a super big guy. You know?
Yeah. No, when I had to give it when I made version 13, because version 13 was the first one that actually showed signs of like significant like weight holding. You know what I mean? Like version 13 I think was able to pick up like 5 grams or something like that. So that and anything before that it was super super brittle and breaking and everything. But this guy on YouTube, his name's the Velocity Spider. He originally wanted me to use liquid latex with some kind of like terps and like an acid, because I guess you can make that's how bouncy balls are made. Okay. And so I looked into it, and I looked into liquid latex, and the most of it is like FX liquid latex, like for movies and stuff, what you make zombie makeup out of and crap like that. And that is actually, it has so much crap in it, like just stuff that is non-water soluble, and that's without giving too much information, that's some of the biggest stuff that I use in my formula is non-polar things, and the FX liquid latex is just filled with a bunch of that stuff. So I did a bunch of research and I found out that there's this place only in Chicago that distributes this stuff, and it's like pretty much only in the Midwest that you can get this stuff. And it's it's used for flooring. Like if you laid down like a subfloor and everything, and you wanted to seal that before you lay down like the actual floor, you would pour this liquid latex all over it and then just let it dry. Well, this stuff is completely water based. You know, everything in here is mostly water, and then it's natural liquid latex. So I made an isopropyl solution with that, you know, to speed up the curing time of it, and then, you know, added it to the formula, and that was just a significant strength boost to all previous versions. But yeah, as for tech, for me at least right now, I'm making the concealable web shooter Mark 3 and 4. I'm actually making a really huge video. I need some popcorn for this next video that I'm about to make.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's like I would imagine, because I'm showcasing Mark 3 and Mark 4, because Mark 3 is the added nozzle that I reamped, a Human's nozzle, and then the cartridges with the ball valves on them. And then Mark 4 is going to be the same setup except with those reloadable cartridges with the quick disconnects.
Yeah. I was thinking, I think I told you this, but I was thinking scrapping the quick disconnect would be better, for the reason that I think length alone is a problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. They are pretty lengthy.
And also the benefit with I don't want to sound like I'm being, you know, narcissistic and saying like my design is way better than yours or anything.
No, not at all.
But the benefit with my design, I think, is you don't even need a shooter to shoot out the fluid.
Right. Yeah. You can just add a trigger to the already valve setup.
Yeah. Exactly. All you really need is a little system to click it in, and you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
And really, those cartridges could easily be used for electronic people who prefer electronic shooters, or people who prefer mechanical shooters. And in fact, these cartridges are pretty much perfect for any one-part solution.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably going to make a separate shooter just for those kind of cartridges. And use those preformed soda bottles as the cartridges.
Yeah, I saw those. Those were thing with those is they have a lot of capacity, which is good. But they're but once again they're lengthy.
Yeah, you can get smaller ones though.
You can?
They come in a bunch of different sizes.
I always, this is a thing. I always really, really liked the look of CO2 cartridges for web cartridges.
Yeah. I know, they're beautiful.
I think it's really because of the 90s animated series. I remember Spyro's cartridges always looked like CO2 cartridges. Yeah,
or the Scarlet Spiders. Or not Scarlet Spider. That is a Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, Scarlet Spiders are like almost identical to CO2 cartridges again.
Yeah.
In fact, my servo shooter, I had planned for the holder for the cartridges to actually be the PS4 Scarlet Spider 3D model.
Oh yeah, that model's awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking I could maybe change that a little bit, remove some stuff, add some stuff, and boom, I'd be done, and pretty much the shooters would be done. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, this Carnage glove is coming along pretty good.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Honestly, I'm probably because I want it on the top of the hand, I'm probably gonna do it kind of how the Human Spider and the Amazing did their first version of the best web shooter with the pulley system, and I'm probably just gonna make a pulley system that can reach from the top of the hand where the butane valve is all the way to at the bottom of your hand, and just kind of pull a little thing down to make it go.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Problem with me is I do not understand mechanical engineering like almost whatsoever.
I mean, honestly, I'm cheating with these butane valves. Like, I really want to make the valves for that best web shooter because, you know, me and the Amazing were talking about it, and you know, when he was using it with my fluid and everything. And the thing is butane valves, they open up slower than that valve is, and my web fluid reacts, you know, with air like instantly. So they made pretty much a one-way check valve, you know. And for the people that are listening, if you don't know what that is, you can go look it up. The King of Random actually has a video on how to make one. You know, so they did, you know, they literally like really outdid themselves. You know, they went as far as to, like, you know, double check their laminar flow and do all the math and everything behind that. So they really outdid themselves with that. But I did want to make something similar, just because, according to Amazing, with my web fluid, it's like unparalleled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with them, right? Like with the Amazing and the Human Spider, you really see, like, those are, you know, I don't like glorifying people that much, but those are like the brains of this community.
Oh yeah, 100%. I
really,
wouldn't
like,
even
those,
think anybody would doubt that.
Yeah, you know, like, you see one of their videos. It's not even their brains though. Like, the video quality is pretty good too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Human Spider videos are sexy. His videos are literally sexy.
Yeah, man, they're so professional. I always liked the Amazing style of recording though. It feels very Peter Parker-esque.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love what he does.
But
I've been watching his ass since he fucking first started.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been a big fan of this community for a long time. I just never really did anything because, you know,
and you have
to be quite honest,
you got to get in here because you're a big brain.
Thanks, man. Well, it's when I saw the community first, I think partially because of the Amazing, I really thought everybody was an RLSH.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you know?
that's a common misconception about a lot of it. I've been asked so many times if I'm an RLSH. Human Spider's been asked so many times if he's an RLSH. Symbiote, Savior Gadgets, all of us, all the time.
You know, opposed to you though, I don't think I have the biggest problem with RLSH people.
You know, I don't have a problem with them per se. I like the Amazing, the Astrials, all those guys, what they're doing, I can get behind that for sure. Would I do it myself? No, you know, especially not in my town, you know, I'm fucking from Chicago, you know, I go out there in a costume, I'll get my ass kicked. Yeah, it's like, that's just immediate beating sentence right there.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just the kids that are flexing online that I can't stand, and it sucks to say, but there's more of them than there is the good ones. And you know, if you listen to my last podcast, you know, we talked a lot about that, and you know, it's I think that last podcast got a good reaction from both groups, you know, RLSH and non-RLSH, and honestly even the RLSV. But I just, you know, I see the sides of this stuff every day. You know, I get messages every single day, the craziest things that you could possibly imagine. I get it in my inbox every day. And, you know, these are the, you know, people claiming to be RLSH and, you know, big parts of the community, and they do all this stuff, and they're literally just destroying the name for everybody that has ever been trying to do something actual with this. Like, there's this guy on Instagram, I can't think of his name for the life of me. Let me look it up really quick, because I do want to give him a shout out, because this is really cool. I think his name's Zero, like spelled with an X.
Okay.
Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, it's Zero, RLSH. This guy, he only has 18 posts and only like 231 followers. But this guy has legitimately helped get like 9 or 10, possibly even more, Instagram pedophile accounts shut down.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and like, you know, he's all of his posts on his thing, you know, he's got a couple posts about, you know, his mask and himself, you know, a couple selfies and everything like that, his logo. But then he has, you know, pictures of all the sites that he's got shut down and calling out these pedophiles and everything. And it's like, you know, you click some of these, the last one's from March 4th. And if you click on this dude's profile, it is, yep, gone, deactivated. This user does not exist. So this guy does. He shuts them down, which is amazing. Like, I applaud this guy for doing that. That is phenomenal.
You know, though, like, don't get me wrong, I think it's great, right? You know, the less there are, the better. But really, you have to leave it to the police. I don't like saying that, but you have to.
No, I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, it's not your job.
You do have to report that to the police. You do have to report that to the police. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. I'm not RLSH. I mean, you know me. I don't claim that or anything like that. But there's a situation, you know, where, you know, somebody's getting hurt or somebody is, you know, I don't know, whatever the case may be. Something happens, you know, somebody gets in an accident, somebody's, you know, getting their ass beat by a bunch of people, whatever.
Yeah.
I might, you know, it all depends on the situation, but am I going to go, you know, run and force myself in there? No, I'm going to call the cops, and if it's a situation where I feel like I can either A, prevent somehow while being safe, or B, you know, stop it from happening, then why not, you know? But I'm not going to put any title on myself for doing that, you know what I mean? I'm just a human. I'm just a person helping out their fellow man, because that's what it's about. You don't have to, you know, put a title on yourself for it, basically.
Well, really, like, with that, I don't have a problem with it. You see something happening, you're not prepared for it, and you go in and you do something about it. You report it to the police afterwards. That's completely legal. If you make a citizen's arrest, completely fine. You had no ill will on the people. You were just trying to save somebody.
Right.
That's completely legal.
Yeah.
But where I do start having a problem is when they go out of their way to be vigilantes, and they go out of their way to save people. It's not your job. If you do want to do that, I'm fine if you want to do that, but if you do want to do it, become a police officer. That's literally their job. Right,
exactly. And this is something that I said before, too, and I will say this again. I said it on my last podcast, but I'll say it again. So, especially being in this community, the spider community, everybody wants to make one of these web shooters. You know, everybody wants to make a real functional web shooter, a pepper spray shooter, you know, gadgets and functional weapons that they can use in the field, right? So if you strap yourself up, if you make holsters, if you make weapons, you plan all this shit out, you know where you're going, you know what you're looking for, you know what you're going to do, all of this stuff, and something happens, whether you are in your legal rights or not, it's still premeditation. You literally thought about this stuff for months. You prepared yourself for it, and it inevitably happens. So any court of law, any police officer, anything like that is going to look at that as premeditation, and you're going to go to jail. I mean, at least where I'm from.
No, I think that's everywhere. Honestly, like over here, you know, I'm not I'm a Canadian citizen, born and raised here. Here, it's the exact same. Really, anywhere, I think it would be the same. And
I mean, I would imagine too.
Yeah, that's precisely what I was saying too. I was saying you want to do something for the like. If you see something happen and you're not armed or anything, fine, go ahead, do it. But if you do have it, it's not your job to do so.
Right. Or join your local neighborhood watch. And if you don't have one, create one. Go to your town, go to your town hall and everything, and fill out the application and make it. You don't even have to. You can be like, I think 16 years old and get, you know, you would probably need some, you know, adult backing and everything from your parents or something, but you could definitely set up a neighborhood watch easily.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure most communities already have them, you know, especially in America. I know that was a big thing in the 90s.
Yeah. You know, like, something that I think a lot of people can't really tell the difference is the difference between comic book fiction and reality.
Oh yeah. You know how many times kids have sent me the formula from Spider-Man Homecoming? I'm like that is a movie prop. That is a prop made by a prop department and a visual effects department. That is a movie prop.
In reality, personally, like, before befriending you and stuff, I was looking everywhere for formula. And I would find that stupid Homecoming formula everywhere.
I know.
And no matter what, I would think, how stupid can you be? They just found some chemicals, put them together, and said, this is web.
Well, I mean, some of those chemicals are actually adhesive chemicals, but it is literally just made to look smart.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I've never really looked at it and everything because I've always known that it's a movie prop. I've never actually studied what chemicals are on there and everything.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a movie prop.
Well, yeah, and going back to the RLSH thing, really, when you believe in that kind of stuff, when you say oh, okay, well, if Spider-Man did it, then I can do it. No, fuck off. You can't do that.
Well, I mean, even if they are looking at that knowledge and comic book and movie knowledge, Spider-Man is Reed Richards level smart. Reed Richards is the smartest man in the universe. In Marvel Comics, he is literally, well, actually, I don't know about in the universe, but he's one of the smartest Marvel minds, right?
He is the smartest human by far. I mean, even Galactus, who doesn't like talking to humans, will have an intellectual conversation with Reed Richards. Yeah.
And you're trying to tell me that Peter Parker, somebody who's on that level of know-how and everything in his universe, that you would be capable to stand on par with that and make a web shooter?
Yes, no. Exactly.
No way.
But the problem, I think, is not even the kids who see this and say, I want to be just like them. I don't like doing this because, I really love Marvel and I've always have. But I think it's really a problem with the creators. Because when you make somebody so relatable, just like Spider-Man, you really have people trying to be him.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the community here, right? I'm not saying everybody's toxic, but in reality, everybody's trying to be him. Yeah. Everybody's trying to do what he's done. We're not real, most of us probably aren't going out at night and beating the crap out of criminals, but nonetheless, these superheroes really have an effect on us.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here for a second. If you really did get Spider-Man's powers, all of them, everything, and I'll even go as far as to say you got organic webbing in this situation, would you go out and be Spider-Man?
Yeah.
You would?
Probably.
Personally, I don't think that I would.
I think it really depends on your neighborhood for that decision to be made. For example, for me, over here in Canada, there's not much crime. There's really, the crime that we have is not physical crime. It's not harassment or just killings. It's mostly drug use.
Yeah.
And being Spider-Man, let's just say that, right? Being Spider-Man, you can't stop drug use.
No.
It's out of your jurisdiction. You can't do it by punching people. You need laws to be there. You need police officers to be there. But if you live somewhere in New York City where you have crime going off almost daily, I don't think it would be that far of a stretch to say if you got Spider-Man's powers, you would do something.
I mean, I would definitely, if a situation called for it where I was right then and there and I would be able to do something about it, yeah, definitely. I would stop that situation. But me as a real life person, I have a family and everything. I would not put myself through that kind of danger to potentially, die in a situation or to potentially get my family hurt in a situation to go out and be a vigilante. You know what I mean? Because superpowered or not, that's still going to be illegal. And when the government finds out that there's a real Spider-Man, they're coming after me. And they'll find me, regardless if I wear a mask.
No doubt.
They're the government. They'll find me.
No doubt.
and then
But
I'm going to be a pincushion.
Yeah.
I definitely don't disagree with that, but it's just at the same time, I don't know. And like I said, I'm speaking from a personal level here, but just I wouldn't. Maybe even if I did decide to, like, you know, suit up and actually, you know, do it and everything, I don't think I would, like, my main goal would be to go stop crime. It would be to help people. You know what I mean? Like, if I got 40 tons of super strength, you know, and I see like a guy in a truck that his truck's broken down or something, or flipped over on the highway or something, I'm gonna go over there and lift that fucker up for him. You know, like, there you go, dude. Go back to work.
But like, I never really. Maybe I said this. Maybe it was unclear how I said it, but I never meant the only goal you do was to be beating people up.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
No, like, I think with those powers you could do something really good.
Yeah, most definitely.
But,
I mean, you definitely can. And I mean, honestly, you know, it would suck, but what I would do, I think, and what I think would help out the world, and it might hurt the world too, but hey, you know, if it does create a supervillain, you know, I'm Spider-Man, and I guess it'd be my responsibility to take care of it. But I would go drop off a couple of vials of my blood off at some type of science lab, just anonymously, you know, some type of genetic research lab. I'd go crawl up in there and just drop them off, and then I can let them study it.
You know what? It's not a bad point. But the problem with that, and you know, this is the plot to, like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, basically, is some idiot would take it.
Oh, yeah.
Some idiot would take. I don't care who they are, they'd probably take it. Even a scientist would probably do it.
Yeah, it would probably be somebody in the U.S. government. That's like not even like a question. I don't think.
Yeah.
That would like immediately go to the military, and they'd be like, "Yep, we need a spider military for sure. Get to work, best scientist in America. Here's $1 billion."
Yeah.
But that's just me personally. That's what I would do, and I would feel like that would be either the best way that I could become a supervillain, or I guess the worst way that I could become a superhero.
Yeah.
Because it could potentially go good, you know, because Spider-Man has like a healing factor, right? It's small, but he's got a healing factor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, in frickin' Far From Home, he gets hit by by like a fucking train, and he doesn't die.
Yeah, and then he's swinging around like 2 scenes later again.
Yeah, man. You know, I kind of like to touch upon this. I gotta say, how about this? Who do you think your favorite rendition of Spider-Man was? Film in the films.
A lot of people I'm gonna get it for this, but my favorite.
I know it.
Well, first of all, I like them all. They are all good in their own ways. Like, Tobey, that was like, he wasn't the first live-action on-screen Spider-Man, but he was the first one that actually made an impact, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like, that movie was crazy when it came out, man. Like,
oh, yeah.
That movie literally, like, flipped the world upside down, you know? And that was phenomenal. The second one was phenomenal. The third one, we're not going to talk about that one. But they were all good except 3.
I don't know. You know, 3 wasn't even that bad.
You know, it's just the plot holes and everything. And you know, this is one thing that I have said a lot about, you know, talking about the Sam Raimi movies is, you know, Sam Raimi is a horror movie director. He's famous for like The Evil Dead, The Grudge, The Possession. You know, that's shit that Sam Raimi does. You know,
it's even highlighted in Spider-Man 2, like that Doc Ock scene when he's in the hospital.
Yeah.
That was like pure Sam Raimi. When he's in the hospital, right? And Doc Ock like kills everybody. That was like exactly what Sam Raimi would do in a horror movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. He even used the demon cam from the dolly that they made to crash through windows and stuff in Evil Dead. They used that thing in that scene. Yeah, no, so, but the thing is Sam Raimi wrote Spider-Man, in his universe as what would happen if Spider-Man would happen in real life now. And
it's kind of like the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, and
really?
he did do it in a lot of good ways, but there was also he wrote a lot of plot holes, and there was a lot of stuff that didn't stay true to the character. Like the organic webbing, for example, is one of the biggest things. Like, even when I saw that movie as a kid, I was like, what the hell? Like, why is it just coming out of his wrist, you know? Like, because the reason is that showcases, you know, not even Spider-Man, Peter Parker's ingenuity and his mind and his intelligence. And it also, at a writing standpoint, it is very good to give a OP hero like Spider-Man a clutch, you know what I mean? Like, which is, you know, his web shooters running out of web fluid or short circuiting or, you know, whatever the case may be that happens to him. But it's that kind of stuff that, like, you can write with an OP character, and, like, you know, when they get in a situation like that, how are they going to use their mind and you know, ability to be the hero that we love them to be to get out of that situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things that the Sam Raimi universe didn't do, and that was kind of, you know, shitty, because that's the really big point of Spider-Man, you know what I mean?
You know, something, you know, sorry to interrupt, but something I always get annoyed when somebody says, oh, the organic webbing is the problem with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. You know, no, I don't think you think that that's the only problem, but really, it's there just to streamline the story.
Yeah.
And
no, you're right. I mean, he did. Sam Raimi did make web shooters for it, and he did make the scene and everything. You know, a bunch of that movie got cut because of 9/11. No,
I know that there was that trailer, and he webs a helicopter in between the two towers.
Yeah. There was there was actually a bunch of scenes with the towers in them and everything, you know, in the skyline and everything like that, and that is apparently one of the reasons why the mechanical shooters got cut from the final film.
Oh yeah,
was because all the stuff that they took out from all those scenes. So I guess the rumor that I heard was that there was a scene kind of like in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 where, you know, he's doing like the handstand on top of the building, and when he's testing out his web shooters.
The Twin Towers?
Yeah, that's what the rumor I've heard on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's just a rumor, so who knows.
Those shooters, though, if you guys want to, just search up Sam Raimi web shooter. Those things are fantastic.
Yeah, they do look cool.
Those are really amazing props. Like, if somebody had one of those and told me it was a real web shooter, I'd probably believe it.
Oh, yeah. I know. They even put those little battery connectors on there.
Yeah.
And it looked really, really homemade and really, really Peter Parker, too.
It was fantastic. And then, you know, it is a bummer. I think it is a real big bummer that they didn't do that they didn't do the mechanical webbing.
Yeah.
But let me crap on your favorite version of Spider-Man quickly. But what I want to say is that mechanical web shooters don't solve everything. I mean, if you look at the Amazing Spider-Man, for example, which, to be honest, I don't think is as bad as everybody says.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Andrew Garfield in the Amazing Spider-Man is my one. Even I do like Tom Holland a lot. I don't like that they're kind of playing him out to be Iron Lad, but I love Andrew Garfield. I liked him, you know, as a Peter Parker. I liked him as Spider-Man. You know, I thought the third one. The third one. I thought the second one had, you know, a lot of mumbo jumbo in it, and it was kind of a jumbled mess. But I cried when Gwen Stacy died. You know, that was a powerful scene, man. That was definitely. Andrew Garfield was a great actor. Their chemistry with Emma Stone is on screen. You know what I mean? And seeing her die like that was very powerful. Same thing with Uncle Ben. You know, that. I don't know if you know who Charlie Sheen is, but Uncle Ben was,
that
was Charlie Sheen's dad in the
Wait,
Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
Holy
man.
shit.
When I seen him on screen, I'm like, oh, Tiger Blood. But yeah.
You know, like, I always, in The Amazing Spider-Man, though, which is, I didn't like that rendition of Uncle Ben, nor did I like the Aunt May. I always really, really liked the Sam Raimi, Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Like, I cry almost every time I see Uncle Ben die in the Sam Raimi. It's just so sad. And something that's really weird for me is that The Amazing Spider-Man 1 is one of my guiltiest pleasures. Because everybody says it's shit, and not to lie, it isn't the best. But if I was Spider-Man, that's the kind of Spider-Man I'd be.
Right.
I'd be a dick about it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, what is anybody going to tell you? You're fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, really when, even as Peter Parker, that's kind of what I'm like. You know, I'm not really the funniest. I'm kind of smart. I'm pretty lonesome. I'm like a loner. You know, it's not really. It's like with Sam Raimi Spider-Man, he's just, it's so sad. You know, that Peter Parker is sad. Like,
yeah.
I look at that guy and I'm like, man, that guy's got the shittiest life.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that is, you know, I guess a little bit true to the character. I mean, they played it a lot harder in that movie, because, like, man, if I was Sam Raimi's Peter Parker, I'd probably shoot myself. Like, everything that could have possibly went wrong with that guy went wrong with him, and then at the end of it, the love of his life was gonna marry somebody else, and then just all this
dude.
Stuff. Like, that dude got shit on all of those movies.
Dude, man, Spider-Man 2 is the fucking saddest thing to watch. If you take that and put that into anyone's real life, it's the fucking saddest thing you'll ever hear.
Oh,
the fact that he didn't shoot himself at the end of the movie is a miracle.
Yeah. Like, when he's standing there in the window, he's like, am I not supposed to have what I want? What I need? Like,
what, a bullet to the head?
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was you, man. Your life sucks. Either I would go rob a billion banks because I'm Spider-Man, or yeah, the option one. You
know, like, so, yeah, that's my opinion on Andrew Garfield, and you know, you kind of summed up my points on Tobey Maguire, who is actually my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of
why
kind
do
of
you like it so much?
You know, it's kind of the exact opposite of what you said. You say that he's not true to the character, but I think he is so true to the character. You'd see how shitty his life is, and really with Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, you don't really get the sense that it is. Tom Holland looks like he's having fun all the time.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, that would probably be most people at Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Garfield is a dick, but he's like 90% of the people as Spider-Man. So I don't blame him. But with Tobey Maguire, it's just, he really brings that depression that Spider-Man really has. Like, you go through all the Spider-Man, he has probably clinical depression.
I mean, yeah, I would say so, definitely. But the thing is that even though he does really feel that way deep down, he overcomes it, and there wasn't a lot of overcoming and stuff like that in those movies. You know, I mean, they even ended on a sad, terrible note. Like, Spider-Man 3 ended terrible. Like, I'm not terrible as in quality, but like terrible for Peter Parker. Like, it ended shitty for him. His best friend gave his life for him. You know, like, yeah, they forgave each other, but he still died. You know, and as far as we've seen on screen, him and MJ were done. You know, he smacked her in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but I'd like to say that something with the other Spider-Man. This is basically my ending. This is my conclusion paragraph, my essay on why Tobey Maguire is the best. It's really the responsibility.
Yeah.
It's I think with the other Spider-Man, you see Tom Holland, and I think Tom Holland is shit on a lot, and Tobey Maguire is shit on a lot, and Andrew Garfield is shit on the most. But like, I think Andrew Garfield is hated by both communities, but like the Tobey Maguire community hates Tom Holland, and the Tom Holland community hates Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I kind of like all of them. You know,
I do too. I like all of them. I want to watch Spider-Man 3 though, just because I hate how they did. Venom's one of my favorite characters, like even superhero versus villain. He's just one of my all-time favorite characters, and to see him being played by Eric Foreman infuriated me so much when I seen that movie. Like, I was legitimately sitting in that theater pissed when I seen Eric Foreman on screen. When he said, Brock, Sir, Edward Brock Jr., I'm like, fuck.
Well, like, I want to, yeah, you know, I don't blame you. But there's a really good YouTuber by the name, you guys have probably heard of him actually. His name's High Top Films.
Yeah, I know High Top.
And he does, I don't know if you've seen them, but he did 3 videos on why every Tobey Maguire movie is good. And holy shit, it's the most convincing shit I've ever seen. Well, it's really amazing.
Another thing that I didn't like about the third one, especially, is that they retconned Uncle Ben's death.
Oh, the Sandman thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they, in essence, made Peter Parker a murderer. For no reason. Like, he killed Dennis Carradine in cold blood. I know he didn't intentionally kill him, but in real life, that is manslaughter. In any way you cut it, that is manslaughter. But no matter what, he fucking killed the guy. I don't think you can really cover that up. Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. You know, like, you gave the redeemable part of that kill no redemption.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you know, I think the perfect way to actually do it was I don't know if you ever seen the Spectacular Spider-Man, but man, there's one episode, to this day, I love it. It's probably like, I'll watch that and I'll be like, that's how Spider-Man should be. It's the episode in which Spider-Man has like a cocoon of the symbiote around him, and he goes through the past of Uncle Ben's death. Oh, and it's the saddest fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's so good though, because it's basically Sam Raimi's thing, but done perfectly.
Yeah.
Because when he knocks the guy off the building, instead of letting him drop, he webs him up. Yeah. If you had added that little thing, that little bit, boom, you would have had it redeemed.
Yeah. I mean, he already terrified him and broke his fucking arm. Like, dude is going to jail after this for, you know, at the time, murder, you know. Obviously, later on, he would have been cleared, and he would have probably been let go, you know, for just carjacking and mugging and stuff, armed robbery.
Yeah. But, the thing, you know, after shitting on Tobey Maguire some more, back to my point, the thing that makes him so great is the responsibility aspect that's done well. With Tom Holland, with Tom Holland, we don't really see it. We see a lot of his actions. He does it, and then he has more fun, right? What is it? Like, Liz's dad, she gets pissed off at him. He leaves Homecoming. He basically makes Vulture leave the state. All this shit, and he doesn't pay for it at all. In fact, he gets rewarded because by the end of it, he gets the suit back. If we look at Andrew Garfield, like I've said about 30 or 40 times, he's a dick, and he doesn't really learn anything, except for maybe the bridge scene, but then he doesn't learn anything again. I mean, if you look at the beginning of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, in that little rhino chase scene, the rhino mows down probably 40 people because Spider-Man's cracking jokes. But if we look at the Tobey Maguire one, he does everything for the people, and he always saves everybody, and he always pays the price, which is fantastic. And it's why Spider-Man 2 is amazing. It's because it's not just because life is shit and he's a depressed fucker, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's that. But the reason he is so depressed is because of the actions of being a good person have worsened his life.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking, really. You know, like, what would you pick? A better life for yourself or a better life for others? And in the end, he picks a better life for others, which, you know, that's what a real hero would do. And that's, to me, why Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man.
Well, that is a very compelling argument. I will not lie to you. I will, I do agree with you on a lot of those points, I do. You know, by the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think that Peter learned more or less so that he needed to be more careful as Spider-Man. And that's, you know, I think a thing that the movies were purposefully showcasing was because even in the comics, Spider-Man before Gwen Stacy's death was kind of a careless Spider-Man. I wouldn't say that he was careless necessarily, but he really didn't take that extra cautionary step. And I think after Gwen died and him realizing, you know, it was his fault and everything, that pretty much, you know, solidified the whole thing for him, especially after he heard, you know, Gwen's hope speech and everything, because he quit being Spider-Man for a while and, you know, all that. But I think by the end of the movie, it was trying to, you know, symbolize that he was there for the people now, you know what I mean? Well, more so than he was before, you know, because if you look at those movies, those are selfish Spider-Man movies, meaning, like, they are all about him, his family, you know, like Norman Osborn and this whole, you know, family secret and everything like that, you know, which is, you know, shit happened in the comics, you know, that is a thing. But, you know, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't a for the people Spider-Man movie, you know?
Yeah. But, like, you know what? I'm okay with that point. You know, if we look at, say, after that, he becomes a better Spider-Man. But by definition of this argument, that does not make Andrew Garfield the better Spider-Man.
No.
Because the Spider-Man we've seen, he's pretty selfish. And to be honest, I'm okay. You know what? If we looked at that Spider-Man, maybe I would have a different opinion.
Well, here's my opinion of Tom Holland, if anybody cares. I like him. Number one, I like him. But I don't like his writing. Well, I should say I don't like how he's written. I don't like the fact that he is trying to follow in Iron Man's footsteps, you know. Because, I mean, even in the comic books, Iron Man and Spider-Man do have a good relationship. I wouldn't say it's like father and son, but...
not at all.
It's a solid friendship, you know what I mean? Like, they both very much so respect each other and everything like that. And I just think that with the Tom Holland movies, it's just too much. Like, you know, with Mysterio and everything, it's just like, you know, Spider-Man has to fight his mentors, you know, has demons and stuff, and it's just like how they did it with the first Homecoming and everything. Like that was really good. Michael Keaton as the Vulture was amazing, you know. But it's just everything in the second one with Mysterio, you know. I like Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I think that, you know, the visual effects were awesome. I just hated the fact that it was Tony Stark enemy taking it out on Spider-Man.
Well, you know, I completely agree with you. I think really Spider-Man and Tony Stark should be different entities, but defending Tom Holland and really the writing of his character, I don't really think there was a better way to introduce him. Unless you did PS4 style, he's been Spider-Man for a while and nobody knows about him. That would have been perfect. But we've already seen an old Spider-Man. We've already seen that. You know? We kind of wanted to see Spider-Man in his high school years, but like properly done. Because even, you know, I'll be honest here, Tobey Maguire, that was terrible. That's awful high school Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good, like, college Spider-Man, I don't lie. And
well,
then Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, he was the cool kid, you know?
Well, I don't even know what they were trying to do with him. He didn't feel like a high schooler, nor did he feel like a college, like, someone in college. He just felt like a flunky to me.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a good idea to make him a high school, but the execution on having Tony Stark be there at all times, yeah, it does annoy me too, and it does annoy a lot of people. It turns a lot of people off. But the biggest problem, I don't think it was a problem introducing him like that, but having him really rely on Tony Stark even after he's dead is terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, I think maybe I think Captain America Civil War should have been 2 movies. I don't know if I'm the only person to think that.
I agree with that 100%. That movie should have been.
I don't think it should be 3 movies or anything. That's way too much. I think 2 movies is enough. First movie, you could set it up, and then the end of the movie, you could have Spider-Man actually straying away from Tony Stark. That would be perfect to lead into his own solo movie. Because if you would have him stray away from Tony Stark in Civil War when he first meets him, he really finds out what a dick Tony Stark is. And then you have Spider-Man really being on his own now. You don't have him relying on Tony's tech or anything. I think that would have been really, really great. I don't know.
No, I do agree with that 100%. I really, you know, I did like Tony Stark and Peter Parker's relationship. It was good on-screen chemistry. You know, you felt the love in between the two for sure. You know, it made his Tony Stark's death super impactful in Endgame. Spoilers alert, by the way. Kind of too late.
You know what? Shut the hell up. All right, like it's been so long.
But you know, all that stuff in it was super impactful and everything. But just the fact that they they only referenced Ben twice with Peter talking to Ned one time and then the bags. That's the only time the biggest influence Peter Parker's father is ever mentioned ever in the whole universe so far, and that's something that I do have a problem with, you know, because I
think that's probably the biggest problem everyone has with it.
Yeah.
You know,
and like, you know, just the fact that he's not even like mentioned as at all. Like, I don't want to see Uncle Ben die on screen again. That's not what I'm saying. But
no, I don't either.
Just to at least mention that guy. You know what I mean? Say his name.
Yeah. yeah. It's you know, I understand what they were trying to do though, because really doing Uncle Ben 3 times in a row, it's annoying. Even for me, it's annoying, and I'm like one of the biggest Spider-Man fans out there. It's annoying, but like you said, just mention him. Don't be afraid to say him. He's not the devil or anything.
Right.
You know, it's and really what pisses me off a lot it wasn't Tony Stark's relationship with Peter, but it was the fact that Peter got over Uncle Ben so quickly and latched onto another father figure just like that, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah. It's
just, that's what's annoying to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. But let's finish off this with I guess, I don't know. How do you think we should finish this off?
I don't know, man. If you want to contact the Blood Spider, I think everybody knows how to contact him. If you want to contact me, I don't know, Blood Spider, if you could put that in the description.
Yeah, I'll put
or anything.
Instagram, your Instagram account, and I'll see if I can put like a link to it there. You got to get on YouTube soon, man. You got to start posting some cool stuff.
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm not that good at editing.
I'll edit your videos.
I'm quite slow with. Dude, that's so nice. And I'm pretty slow with my projects. Like, I sound like the Ion Spider. I don't really want to do that. It sounds like I'm BSing my ideas. So yeah. I don't know. I guess thanks for listening, guys. Like that was a long ass podcast.
Oh yeah, this is a long podcast. How long are we officially at right now?
An hour.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you, Huntsman.
Yeah, you too, man.
Finish this print out.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'll probably have you on again if you're going to be willing to.
Yeah, of course, man. I'd be down.
And then everybody else, make sure you go check out his Instagram. You know, I'm going to try and convince him to post a lot more stuff so he can show you guys some really cool stuff. He's helped me out with a lot of projects, so he's got potential.
Thanks.
But that's that, everybody. Thank you for listening. Tune into the channel for the next week podcast. It's going to be